lucky because these two lessons, lesson 4 and lesson 5, are pretty much similar. They have the same foundation, but what I've done is I've provided you with a different solution for both. On the first one, you get 4 solutions, and on the second one, you get a further 6 solutions. Now that's 10 different points of help for you as an individual, to help you with your selling, to help you with your understanding of your prospect, your customers, and to help you become a better salesperson. By now, everyone in sales is aware that excitement and enthusiasm are infectious, and that makes that excitement and enthusiasm contagious. On the other hand, very few are aware that the lack of enthusiasm is the reverse of contagious. It simply turns others off and has a tendency to repel people from you. So choose wisely, because there can be unwanted consequences from choosing badly. I love what I've just heard in this short video. I like the fact that excitement and enthusiasm can be contagious. They can become infectious, and they can not only infect everybody around us, but they'll do the same to us. And that's something which is really important for you to understand. And it's all about selling, because selling is about transferring the feeling. So if you're excited, if you're enthusiastic, you will transfer that feeling. And all of a sudden, your prospect or your customer will start to take that feeling on board. The other part of the video talked about the fact that you need to choose wisely, because if you don't, it can have unwanted consequences. And you don't need the unwanted, and you don't need the consequences. But you know what? You as a salesperson do this to yourself right from day one. If you call yourself a salesperson, a sales rep, an account manager, area manager, or consultant, you've just pigeonholed yourself, and in a lot of cases that will bring in the unwanted consequences. That's right, you already know that. So many people look at you the minute you say, I'm a salesperson, as somebody that's got 3 heads, been selling used cars, your teeth are stained, you've got cigarette breath, and nothing that comes out of your mouth can be trusted. Well, it's far from the truth, and you know that. So what I want you to do is to change the name of who you are. Because in reality, you're one of 3 things. You're a trusted advisor, you're a problem solver, or you're a value building authority. And all I want you to do is to say, you know what, I've been a trusted advisor to the engineering part of the business that I represent, and I've been doing it for 10 years. I've been a problem solver to the car industry now for the past 20 years. I've been a value building authority to the building industry now for the past 10 years. What a difference an understanding of what you do and conveying it to the prospect or customer is going to do. They're going to hold you at a different level, in a different stead, and they're going to rely on you to live up to the name you've just given yourself. If you're going to be a trusted advisor, make sure you can live up to it. If you're going to be a problem solver, show them how you've helped other people solve problems. And if you're a value building authority, make sure that you've got everything in place, including the paperwork and all of your presentation, that actually builds on that and confirms every bit of it. Now, in the old days, I'm talking about 30 and 40 years ago, we used to do our presentations with what we called a slide projector or an overhead projector. Now, with those projectors, what actually happened is we had to create the slides, or we had to create the overhead film, and we did that mainly in a photocopier. Now, A lot of people still use photocopiers today, but they're generally glorified printers that can do fantastic things that we weren't able to do 30 or 40 years ago. You can see that happening. Times have changed and changed dramatically. Now, this slide that I used shows two men, one with two ears and one mouth, and one with two mouths and one ear. Which of those two do you think are the better salesperson? Well, that's easy to work out. So the fact is it possible to talk too much? And is it possible to listen too much? Always possible to talk too much, and those that talk too much don't do much listening. And those that listen, what other people would consider they listen too much, are the ones that do most of the selling, because by listening it allows the prospect or the customer to talk, and they start sharing either warm buttons or hot buttons, and those are the two things that will help the salesperson make the sale. Now, whenever you do listen a lot, it'll make the prospect feel comfortable. And the more comfortable they feel, the more secure they feel, and the more they're then prepared to tell you what you need to know. Because good listening will build trust, it will lower resistance, and it'll build up the prospect's self-esteem. Now, why is the prospect's self-esteem so important? Because it is. Without self-esteem and without feeling good in your presence, the prospect is likely not to consider to buy from you, and they're probably going to fob you off and ask you to call back. And when that happens, most times don't expect to sell on the return call. Now, having brought up these 2 points out of the 6, these last 4 I'm sure are going to rock you, so I'll go through them briefly. The first thing is, so many people in sales can feel superior. They think they're better than everybody else. Well, that's a form of arrogance nobody wants to see in sales, nobody needs in sales. And if you start feeling superior, I'll guarantee you'll feel superior to your peers. You'll feel superior to your managers. You'll feel superior to the staff around you. And guess what? There's no better way of turning those that work with you off. But now you're going to take this to your customers. They're going to get turned off even faster still. So the third point is, those that feel superior become confrontational. They're no longer consultative. They no longer sell on the basis of wants, because they feel that they can help people better by telling them what they need. That's right, they feel that they're superior and they can pass on what the customer best needs. Well, guess what? You won't sell too much if you force them into wanting what they need. They will buy what they want, and there's no other argument with this whatsoever. The fourth point is, bad salespeople will begin to pressure rather than serve. That's right, they start to pressure. Well, the minute you start to pressure or force people into your mode of thinking, you will violate their trust. I actually say you will dismember their trust. And once you do that, it's hard to get it back. You need to let them talk it out. You want to hear them out. Otherwise, you won't make a sale. The fifth point is, well, you need to stop being aggressive and start becoming supportive. You can't force anything onto any one of your prospects or customers. I've said that a number of times already. You need to share what's important to them, not to you. You are not their solution. What you may have as a product or service could be a solution, but you need to bring this up gently, and you need to bring it up in such a way that they want to hear that solution. Otherwise, there's no value either to the prospect or the customer. And the minute prospects or customers become overwhelmed, they feel dominated. They think that you know better than they know, and they won't buy from somebody that wants to dominate them or knows better. And the sixth point is the final point. And you now have to stop thinking that you've got a better focus than everybody else. You do not have a better focus then your customers need to focus on. The minute you start doing that, again, superiority starts taking over. But here's the rub. What'll happen when your customers have problems that they need help with? They'll make contact with you. You will not return calls. In fact, you'll disappear from anything to do with what they're wanting. And that in turn will create pressure on you. And when you feel under pressure, you'll want to get away from that pressure. You'll want to not only hide from that pressure, but you'll want to believe that pressure doesn't exist. And if you don't deal with the problem or the pressure that's important to your client or prospect, well, guess what? You're now under your own pressure. And I can guarantee you one thing, you will leave the industry. Now, that's not what you want. It's not what your superiors want. It's not what your family wants. But it'll become inevitable because you need to act like a salesperson. You need to get that humility back, and you need to make sure that you're looking after your prospects and your clients as your priority.